Come to Remora TC to trade like a shark and not get eaten by one. Let's school together to protect and grow our money. Good morning. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a couple weeks since I've done a video. I've had other priorities that have taken up my energy. So today, this morning is the first time I have an opportunity to give you my analysis of how our predictions went over the past couple of weeks. So let's start things off with the triple Qs. You can see over the past couple of weeks, quite a bull move here, okay? I talked about how this lower trend line would be support. And I put this whale here to inform us that there was indeed some bullishness coming back into the market. But what I didn't anticipate was that the 200-day posed no overhead resistance for price, okay? From a volume standpoint, you can kind of see on these candles down here that there's not a lot of volume, okay? On this day here, we had 95 million shares, but it's pretty much the same. It's pretty even with the rest. I'm going to zoom out just to give us a feel for the significance of this green candle, okay? So it's really not that, not that crazy significant compared with the green candles over here where price is at volume is at 161 million shares. So 50 million versus 150 plus million, not a lot. You can see that the volume has been on the green side, the bullish side, but it's been decreasing. So really, it's just retail investors trying to push price back up. It's fine. I don't think it's time to go long. I'm still of that opinion. I'm going to slide this gap fill over. Even though we've already filled the gap fill, I'm just using it as a reminder of where price had gone over the past months and how price will likely behave at the top of the gap fill. So let's zoom in. You can see over here, let's just mark it. You have this push to the all-time highs, okay, which is only a little bit above this gap fill. You have the second attempt to achieve all-time highs again here. I think they're going to attempt it again for a third time, okay, maybe a third attempt. Now, I want us to take a look down here at the RSI. You see this section here where RSI is bearish, okay? I'm curious if they're going to push price up, push it up here, maybe attempt to hit all-time highs, but will they keep the RSI lower, this peak of the RSI, wherever it ends up, will it remain lower than this one? Okay, I'm just going to circle this guy just so that we are reminded of this discussion. So the curiosity is, will this be here? Will this one stay below it? So I'll just kind of make it a little bit lower like this, okay? That'll remind me next week to review where it is, because I anticipate that this will still be on a downward trajectory from an RSI momentum standpoint, and that will tell us that it remains really not the time to buy, okay? So right now, there's no long play, there's no short play. If anything, it's get ready for the short. Get ready to behave like the sharks. Sharks are selling, so you do what they do. That's how my analysis works here. So let's go, there you go. There's some resistance there. And my app updated. The version's a little bit, it's a newer version, and some of the annotations, the way the tools work is a little bit different. So I'm just discovering it right now. Anyway, that's triple Qs. Let's go over to Microsoft. Okay, so it's been a couple weeks. My annotations from a couple weeks ago, was resistance zone up here, and you can see price has moved up into this resistance. There's some bullishness here, and I put the whales to inform you of that. But I did say there is resistance here, and price hit resistance yesterday. Okay, so no change in my overall direction for Microsoft. I think the general direction is to the downside with some support down here, which we'll analyze as price behaves down there. There may be some additional resistance up here. Okay, so I'll just annotate it like that. Price may come up there, hit it as resistance over the next couple of days, but the general direction still remains to the downside. Let's switch to GDX here, the gold play. I drew this flag in orange to inform everybody of the likely move. I still think the flag is remaining in play. This price action above the flag is really low volume. Okay, so the volume down here, look at these candles, really low. So let's say this day, this is Friday the 10th at 17 million shares. Okay, 17 million shares compared to an average that is much higher. Well, maybe a little bit higher, maybe almost double, right? Double if you zoom out a little bit. Okay, so not a lot of volume to the upside. This is just retail investors buying back in. It is in the zone of resistance. Some people might say, hey, this is considered an island cluster top. It's a technical analysis pattern where price kind of creates a gap. I'll just draw it here. Creates a gap above a zone of, above a flag zone, above a bearish triangle. Okay, so this is the bearish triangle pattern, which I annotated here in orange. So the technical analysis way of describing this is it's an island cluster, set of islands out somewhere, but what will happen is price won't stay there long. It will fail. So still, overall direction remains unchanged. You can see I drew it here. I think when price fails, it will fail somewhere over here on the triangle. So I will move this line over when it is the time to do so. But right now it's, my annotation remains unchanged. It is to the downside. So don't buy into GDX just yet. Let's switch to Bitcoin. All right, you can see, I'll zoom out here, my prediction that price will come back down to this 58 zone. I'm still keeping that. I also think price will eventually come down to 42. Right now, it's just moving along what is kind of like a channel. To me, it's a flag, but you can also, one could argue it's a channel. And I'll just extend the lines of the channel here just to show some continuation. My overall prediction for Bitcoin remains to the downside. Okay, you can see a rejection here. Every time, price came up to this point here, the 75 got rejected. It did so again, second attempt in the recent month or so, also rejected. I think it will have a hard time staying above 75. And price will get pushed downward. It will fail, and then fail underneath this lower trend line here. And let's say if it fails over here, I'll move this over. Let's say it fails over here. Then we'll just kind of track it over to, what is this, 45? So I'll change this to 45, okay? So for now, if you look at the momentum indicator down here, there is no bullishness, okay? There is no bullishness, nothing bullish. It is, all this price action is based on wave patterns that are unwinding all this bearishness here. Okay, I put the shark here, bearish pattern here. I said they will likely bait us over here. That baiting is still in play. Okay, don't get too excited. I'm going to put the bait here. They're going to try to get you to buy in so that they can have liquidity to sell their shares. Okay, and I know none of us can play Bitcoin because each Bitcoin is $75,000. But if you play a proxy like any of those Bitcoin ETFs, right? The spot ETFs, etc. They all will behave in the same way. And they are going to try to get you to buy in so that they can unload. So the general direction, I'll just kind of slide my arrow over, okay, remains to the downside. Okay? Kind of drag it over, remains to the downsides. Okay, and I'll slide this over a little bit. Yep. There may be a bounce here, right, at this 58. And price will get down there and we'll see. We'll see what will happen. But overall, I think the long term, it'll come down to 42. Let's switch over to a financial play. All right, this is one of the few long calls that I had. I was bearish. I was bearish up here. I said, hey, opportunity to go with the sharks and short. You know, they were selling. They sold. And then the whales came in, the big fish came back in, bullishness here. And I said, if you can get an entry down here, okay, which is about 287. Price didn't get to 287. It got down to, what is this? It got down to 291, so really close, just $3 off. Got down to 291, and if you could have gotten an entry anywhere there, around 291, 292, then what my prediction was here was it would have been a nice 13% move. And at the moment, yeah, it'll continue up to the 200-day, and we'll have to see how price behaves then. But right now, if you're not already long American Express, right? If you're not long American Express, don't go long. And if you're short American Express, right, because you took a short position to go along with the sharks here, then you're riding a short-term bull run. It is not I don't think it'll be long-term. I think it will eventually hit this zone of resistance here at around the 345 range here. And it will be further low prices from then. But right now, it is a near-term long play. But if you're not already in it long, don't jump in now because you're right in the middle of two support and resistance zones. Okay? So don't jump in now. Let's switch over to LGEN. Mint leaves here. I'm drinking water with mint. I think it's supposed to have some health benefits, but the loose mint leaves just kind of, I don't know, it's hard to not just drink them with every sip. We've got LGEN here, financial play, similar behavior as American Express. I put the whale here to show the short-term long momentum move, okay, bullishness here. I talked about zone of support, okay? And then I said, well, you know what? We're going to have a bull move up, and my prediction was resistance here, okay? But price didn't behave that way, and it has some decent conviction here on this volume at 55 right here on, what day is this? Tuesday the 14th. So the question is, how much further will this go? I think the behavior will be the same as American Express. It'll hit resistance. So I'm going to put the resistance here. Resistance there, but then the general direction remains to the downside. I'm not long on this in the long term. Really, the move is to unwind this. This is what it's going to do. It's going to unwind this. All right, so switching over to Northrop Grumman. This is a defense contractor behaving as expected. It is a unloading of shares by the sharks, okay? And this is just a wave pattern. So no change. You can see the wave pattern going like this. You have here the break of the pattern on this day, on Wednesday, the retest of resistance here on Thursday the 9th. Let's zoom in just to kind of show you. Thursday the 9th, and then some selling and some further unwinding. Okay, it'll just kind of zigzag down, but yeah, no change. The 200 days here, I'll just slide it over. There may be a little bounce so that it'll, go like this, bounce up a little bit. People will buy back in. The bounce will look like this. It's just a flag pattern. Price goes down, boom, it bounces because retail investors get excited on the news. And then with that excitement, the sharks then have liquidity. They have people on the other side of the table to take their shares so that they can unload, right? And then they'll unload, so it'll bounce here, which is another flag pattern. They'll unload, and the pattern repeats itself. The sharks will thank you for that. No change in momentum down here, so no other annotation. Let's switch over to Exxon Mobil. I talked about the bait here, right? You have the bearishness. I put the shark here to inform you that they are going to sell. They're telling each other. They told me with my analysis. Then I said they're going to bait. I thought the bait would be a harder bait, like they would really put a lot of chum in the water and attempt to push price up to slightly even higher to really get in a lot of people so that they can really unload. But instead, they started to sell it off. Not with huge conviction, though. That's the thing I'm watching right now. Not with a huge conviction, which means they may push it back up into this resistance zone here, okay? They may even push it up into this bait area that I drew up here. So I'm not changing. I'll just kind of go like this. How's that? Actually, I'll delete this one. We don't need it. So the whole bait play isn't there. So what I'm telling you is, don't. This is not the opportunity to go long. The risk reward is not there for you to go long. If anything, if you're excited about the oil play because of all the things going on about, I won't let you go through this zone because I'm I'm guarding this channel. I don't want to talk about the news too much, but I'm guarding this path to not let traffic go through. But then somebody else wants to guard the same path to not let traffic go through. If you're excited about all that stuff and you're trying to make decisions based on that, well, I'm telling you, the sharks have already decided that they are going to unload their shares. So they will help push out really interesting information that gets you excited. Oh my gosh, good news about this, this roadblock in the street. We couldn't take our kids to school in the morning because of the roadblock. But then somebody else wants to put the same roadblock to control the traffic of driving your kids to school. Well, you might hear some really good news one day, and that will be the day the sharks will unload on you because you're happy to buy into the trade to go long. It's not the time to go long, okay? The risk reward isn't there. If anything, if you follow the channel, then maybe it's time to go short, okay? To go with the sharks, okay? So the play would be 24% move downward. Let price come back up here into the zone of resistance at about 161, 160. It may not even reach 161. It may, attempt to get up to, I'm just gonna look at this line here. Maybe it'll get up to 159, okay? So it may get up to 159. I'll just kind of draw it. And then maybe it'll come up to 159, like that. Okay, so this, just kind of draw it like that, make it black, and hit that as resistance, and then boom, some selling, okay? And then let's switch over to a long play that is setting up really well. And let's zoom out for those of you who haven't seen this one in a bit. This is a really, really sexy stock. It's washing machines, Whirlpool Corporation. But look at this, long channel down, okay? Long channel down. About 80% down from its highs here from 2021. 80% down. Now, you see this long channel. This is the weekly chart. So don't get too excited about what I'm explaining just yet. But you can see on the daily how, let me move this real quick, move the other way. You can see on the daily that price is underneath this purple trend line. I've drawn this one for a while, purple trend line, to go back to 2021. You can see that price failed, but then boom. Let's put a whale here, because this is a let's see, how do I do it? Visual? There you go. Let's put the whale. This is the bullishness coming in. The whales are telling each other, hey guys, you know what? I think we've caused enough panic. There's not enough shares left to go short, right? They've unloaded for 3 years. 2021, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 years, right? 4 or 5 years. They've unloaded, okay? They made a lot of money. And now I think they're going to begin accumulating shares. Okay, so the big fish, the whales, are going to start buying. Now, when I drew this because I said, you know what? Wait till price comes down to this purple trend line before you buy back in, okay? Before you take an entry, because that would be the right thing to do. I'm waiting for this moment for price to come down to almost touch this. I like really beautiful entries. There's an ego thing involved. I like to be able to say to myself and maybe even to you that I was right. That price would come to the area where it would be the best risk reward for us to take an entry. So let price come down here. I think it'll come down. Let's look at the hourly just to give us a slightly better view. All right, so on the hourly, you can see the momentum down here. I'm just going to slide this over here so we can see momentum a little bit more clearly. You got the buy signal here. Okay, fine. Price is going up. Now up here, is there any, okay, there's no bearishness per se. It's just price moving with, momentum moving with price. I think, let's see, it may dip below this a little bit. Maybe it'll come down to 54. I think I'd be happy to take an entry at around 54 myself. All right, so I will put a, where's 54? About here. So let's go like this. So if you can get an entry around here at 54, then enjoy it, because it's going to go like this. And then let's try the next one. Go to the daily. Price is going to keep going. It's going to be a really nice trade. Okay. I'm going to delete this real quick. All right, so price will come down. Probably hit this little 54 zone, and then let's draw the next arrow. You know, anywhere here. It's not perfect. It's just I like to I like to say that I'm right. Okay, but in general, the risk reward is based on the get a nice entry down here, okay, and then price will come up. It will, I think it will fill the gap fill. It'll take perhaps a couple months to do the gap fill, but that'll be about a 50% move up. You see that? Okay, for the gap fill. So if you can get an entry here with the risk reward being, you know, maybe 3 or 4% to close out a trade if it goes underneath the purple trend line. It may go under the purple trend line once again, okay? It's, you know, there's no, but I'm willing to take that risk for the much greater reward of price moving up about 50%. This is one of the few long plays that I've seen, so enjoy it. I want you to write a comment for me in a couple of months to say, hey, John, thanks for this trade because I made a lot of money, or you made a lot of money, okay?